You know, it's actually very funny to me that so many guys, including a lot of male relationship coaches out there, actually put a lot of women down for being hypergamous. First of all, let's understand something. A woman's hypergamous nature is just that it is her nature. This is what she is like naturally. And there's a reason for that because she is only going to pick the guy. Now, this is just the basic premise of hypergamy. Doesn't always work across the breadth and width of all women, but basically how it works is a woman would pick the guy who's better or best positioned to help her to father and to raise children. That means that the guy's going to have to be productive. The guy's going to have to be industrious. The guy's going to have to show an ability to and a willingness to not only have children, but to engage in their lives on an emotional and mental level effectively so that she can raise children or be helped to raise children who are healthy and who are, productive members of society later on down the road. That's the purpose of hypergamy. Now, where we have a problem with hypergamy with women is when women use hypergamy as a ongoing selection tool, which is okay when they're single and they're out there looking for that right guy to connect themselves with or to hang their star on. But it's a whole nother issue when a woman uses her hypergamous nature to simply go from guy to guy to guy. And when you see a woman doing that, going from this guy who's on this particular level financially, academically, or whatever, and then she says, okay, I see this guy over here, so I'm going to go there and get with that guy because he's better off than this guy, then that signals that there is a serious problem, not with the woman's hypergamous nature, but with her inability to control it. What it means is that somewhere in her life, somehow or another it happened, she is suffering a long-term failure where she doesn't recognize the fact that when you're hypergamous and you pick the right guy, you build something together. What this woman does, the woman who's suffering the failure, what she does is she really doesn't want to build anything with the guy. What she wants to do is go to a guy who has quote unquote so-called arrived already, who has all of his ducks in a row, and she has nothing to do with that. All she wants to do is get on that train, that gravy train, and ride it. That's when hypergamy is misused. There's nothing wrong with hypergamy. There's just only something wrong with it when it's not being properly utilized by a woman and it's not being properly recognized by a man, which is what's going on with so many guys today. They just simply don't stop to understand that hypergamy is a woman's way of actually doing her part to protect society. Think about it for a second. When she picks the best guy to build a family with, what is she doing? Well, what she's doing is essentially adding another family unit to society that is going to be productive and strong, right? That's what she's doing. So you take all of these strong family units, you put them together, and what do you have? You have a strong society. When she misuses her hypergamous nature and does what some relationship coaches refer to as monkey branching, that is going from this branch to lower branch in a guy who this branch that he represents is where his financial status is, to the next higher branch where a guy with a more robust financial status. When she's monkey branching, that's when you start to see a lot of problems in society. That's when you start to see society start to weakening in terms of their life doctrines, their principles, family values, and things like that. Because essentially what this woman is doing, number one, is demonstrating her greed. And we know that greed is no good for society. We can see what greed on political levels and corporate levels have done to society already. And all she's doing is contributing that. Number two, it destabilizes the family unit, essentially, because a lot of times these same women who are monkey branching are single moms who have already, I hate to say this, but have already messed up their lives monkey branching, going from guy to guy to guy to guy. So what are they raising? They're raising unstable children who they're going to send out into society. I used to like to say that it was a great thing when men and women raised their children and sent them out into the world to seek their fortune. Now, the children aren't being raised really by anyone. And now when they reach a certain age where they're no longer tolerable, they are unleashed upon the world to wreak havoc. And that's exactly what's going on. And part of this occurs when the hypergamous nature of women is being misused, especially by women. But guys, you got to understand, the hypergamous nature of a woman really not only just helps society at large, but it helps you individually as a guy. Because you know what that means? That means she's always going, number one, she's always going to challenge you to be your best you. Always going to challenge you to be your best you. That's why she picked you. You know, if we're now, that's given that we're talking about an emotionally and mentally healthy woman. But that's why she chose you, because you represent the cream of the crop. You represent one of the best. So in order for you to stay on that operational level where you're demonstrating your best, she is going to challenge you from time to time. And when she sees you slacking off, she is going to address that. That's what she does. That comes straight out of the hypergamous soil of a woman's emotional environment. That's what she's trying to do. She's actually helping you. A hypergamous natured woman can actually be an asset if you recognize what it is, and don't be so corrupted by a lot of these relationship coaches. Some of them very popular guys, and some of them whose content I do have a great deal of respect for, but some things, especially on this particular issue, I disagree. Don't be so corrupted by what they're telling you. There's basically and fundamentally nothing wrong with a woman being hypergamous. It is a value to society when she is, and it is an asset to you as her partner when you connect with this woman, whether through marriage or a long-term relationship of some type. So that's the whole thing. Ultimately, hypergamy works for society when it's exercised on healthy levels. When it isn't, it works against society. It's just like anything else. You can take a hammer and drive a nail, or you can take a hammer and bury it in somebody's head. You know, it depends on what your purpose is. It depends on what your mindset is, and it depends on how it's used. Well, anyway, my name is Dave Thomas III. This is Faked Out by Love. Be sure to like, comment, and share this particular video. And also subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have your support. Hit that little notification bell down there at the bottom. That way, you're going to know every single time that I upload a fresh video. Well, it's early in the morning here. That's why I'm kind of stammering around. It's like 4 o'clock. But just wanted to pass it on to you guys, and I look forward to hearing from you again. By the way, this video is for not just the guys, for women too. All right? Y'all have a great day now. Talk to you later.